Hey guys, welcome to my channel, welcome to the stream, and another chapter of the tank that never ends. M2A3 Bradley. Run the intro. Let's get started. Okay, let's get started on this, okay? Okay, how many times I gotta ask okay? I gotta ask, every time I ask okay, I need to ask okay. Anyway, we're still working on the turret, but I think we might get pretty close to finishing the turret. I've got to get running in about 20 minutes, but I can come back almost right away. So, let's just see what we gotta do here. Move my stuff out of the way and get relevant things that I need, that I'm gonna need for my relevancy. Yes. Okay, so we finished, let me change the camera. We finished step 55, at least as best as I could, okay? Because we've got glass to go in, so I can't finish it completely. And that's it right there. That's done. I did paint the inside of our little box black, that's why you can't see in there no more. But that's it, okay? So everything still moves. And this is our Commander's Independent Thermal Viewer Assembly. Okay, and that's done. So, on to step 56, where we're going to put some stuff onto our top of our turret. Again, back to the top of the turret. So, let's see here. What do we have to do? We got to grab the turret. Let's grab our turret here. There might be the odd thing that I need to do, like here H3 is going to go onto the side of our barrel. Let's get the top off of here. Okay, separate these guys so that we can deal with this. Okay, so looks like our Commander's protection system, which we assembled last time, is going to go on here. And where's he going to go? He's going to line up with this tab. Our rear tab is going to go in back here, it looks like. He's going to go just like that. Lines up quite nice. But we have step number 1. H20 needs to go into its position first, because he's going to get sandwiched in right in there. He's going to get sandwiched in. We're going to make a little sandwich today. Okay. So let's grab the parts that we need to. H20, H3, J27, and 20. Let's grab those. Okay, so we've got our parts cleaned up. Let's start a little bit of assembly here. I'm going to need my glue ready. So our J27 is our little antenna, and he's got to go into our J20. Kind of like this. I say kind of because that's not what I was intending. I'm going to try and chamfer the edge to maybe convince him to go into the hole a little better. Let's try this again. I want him to actually go into the hole. There we go. There we go. Now we can add glue to that, and they'll stay together. We'll just set him down. We're not going to put him on there yet. We're going to deal with our H20. This is step number 1 that needs to be done. And I just realized I got a big nub ball on there that needs to be removed. There we go. Okay, so this guy is kind of a funny orientation. He's going to sit in here like this, but he's kind of did I take the correct part off? He looks correct here, but this arm is totally different than what they're showing in the diagram. Did I get the correct part? I did H20, that is definitely H, and that was 20, but he does look totally different than what's in the diagram. And so he's not going to sit exactly where they're saying he should sit. So that is strange. That is very strange. Oh, you know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at this arrow going down here, going through the part. So I thought that the little block here was supposed to go right there, up there, but that's not it. That's just, we need to line this up, and that's it. Okay, so I'm just not correct. And you hear the ambulance coming, they're coming to take me away because I'm a little crazy. So he just goes in like that. And I guess that's it. And they don't say not to glue it, but I think if I glue it, it's going to interfere with the turret when they try to lift up. So I think I'm just going to leave it not glued. And we're going to put our commander's protection system on. And again, we're going to line them up just like so. Don't do that. Let's get him back in his place. I said back in his place. There. Stay in your place. Commander's protection system. Back on there. There we go. Okay. That's it. Alright, let's put some glue in there. I'm actually going to open the commander's hatch, just so that I can get in there on these spots on the backside too. Add some glue to our points. Over here on this side, it seems to not want to sit down. It's like I'm going to have to hold this down in a spot. So maybe I didn't quite have it lined up properly. I don't know for sure. But we're going to hold that down for a minute and let the glue do its thing. Make sure I got glue in these spots. It seems to be touching our little periscope entries. That's what it seems like it is. It's sitting on top of them anyway. But I gotta hold it here for a sec. So there's not much else I can do right now. I could maybe put the antenna on. The antenna goes, our combination of J20 and 27. It goes onto this little hole right here, that little spot there. Okay. Okay, it goes in there. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do with that. So I'll put some glue in there. And we'll pick this up and put him in this spot. And he fits nice and easy. I got no complaints about that fit. Fit perfect. Okay. No complaints about that at all. So next we have H3, but H3 is actually going on to the little notch there. Just put that there. H3 is going to go into this little notch right there. And he's going to go, he's got kind of a round peg sticking out this side, and then he's got a square peg. The square peg is what's going to go on there. So the trick is doing this one-handed as I'm holding on to this other piece. It's going to go right there like that. And he almost stays all on his own. A little glue in his home will help convince him to stay there while I get him lined up. I don't know if he's supposed to be straight up and down or what. I think it's probably supposed to be straight up and down. There, I have it going, sitting straight now. A little bit of extra glue because I moved him around a little bit. And he's kind of fallen over again. There we go. So it's kind of a delicate procedure, but he sits like that. I try and get my camera sitting like that. Okay, let's just put him down, and that's that. So, let's see if I can let this go and if it's going to stay. My piece kind of feels like I got glue on it, even though I didn't put glue there. But it's very possible that when I went in there, when I went in here with the glue, that maybe I touched and I got a little glue in a spot. It feels no longer, but you know, the nice thing about this glue, you move it around enough and it'll just let go. So let's see. It's holding. So before it wanted to have a gap here, but now I held it long enough, it seems to be holding. So yay. Yay for that. So that is that. So we can move on. That's all of our pieces. No, it's not all of our pieces. We got our Gunner's Integrated Sight Unit, the ISU, which is this guy here. Now remember, they wanted me to put a piece of glass in behind here. I'm not seeing much point of that because it is a solid block. There's no hole in the bottom, and it's just going to sit on the very top here. Get it lined up with the notches, and that's how it's going to sit. Just like that. And yeah, I don't see any point to putting glass in there when you're not going to be able to tell. And plus, when I spray paint it, it's going to spray paint the glass, and you're going to really distinctly see that in through the mesh. It's going to look like a solid wall when it's not supposed to be. It's really interesting to see. This is definitely the viewfinder or whatever periscope thing that they look through, and how it goes up into this little box. That's kind of a neat little feature. It's really interesting, you know, having never really seen the interior of a tank or anything, how it all works. Putting it all together and seeing how all these things are integrated with each other is really interesting. Anyway, that's that. Okay, so now this section, 56 part A, is done. So we get 56 part B. We got to get some more parts and then come back, okay? So we need G, we need some J and R and F and H. So I'll grab these and get them cleaned up. I'll move this out of the way. Okay, so our parts are cleaned up and we are going to start some assembly. Now, I actually already did. I joined J20 and 27 together already, and they are right there. Okay, So we're going to take R13 and we're going to put them on like this. And just like the other side, this lines up very nicely and easily. Give that a little press on there just to make sure we got glue going all the way around. And we'll set that down and we'll just leave that for a minute, let that dry. Okay, so it looks like we're going to take our F15 and we're going to fly over to H28. Now it's got a couple of little bolt heads, I guess, right there and there, and we want those facing the outside. So we're going to put that together like this. It leaves a little bit of an edge on the outside, but it's flush on the inside, so that's good. Run our glue along there, and we'll put a little on this side, there and there. Okay, so there's our little storage compartment of whatever that is, and that's going to go on the back of the turret. Let's just make sure this piece still moves. Yep, good. Let's close our hatch. So it's going to go in the middle, it looks like right here. So it's going in like that, and then he sits in such a way that he's going to be straight. He almost sits by himself, but not quite. So let's put some glue in this little hole and in this little hole. And line him up in there. And hold him for a sec. There we go. And that lets us put a little more glue on him. And there. These little edges. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. And I want to make sure I do have glue on the top part where those things go in. There we go. And so there's our little box on the back. It's going to make for fun getting any paint in there, but that's okay. And then we have G3 over on this side here. Let's go around here. G3 looks like he's going to be some kind of a guard that goes around there. Looks like these 2 points here and here, they're going to go here and here. Let's see how this lines up. We sure do got a lot of kibble going on all around this thing now. Yeah, so it acts as like a guard for the little antenna. So if I hold it like this, I should be able to put some glue on there into our 2 spots. Just kind of hold it for a sec. There we go. And now I can put glue down on the front side here, where it's going in between the armor. And that looks like that. So we've got our little guard down there now, and a little box on the back. So we've got our last little antenna, and our last antenna, maybe I should have put it in first. It's going down in here in the back. But I wanted to get our pieces assembled first. So let's see if I can slide them down in there. Maybe just by holding on to the little antenna. I'm hesitant to really grab that antenna too harshly. This is kind of slide down in there, doesn't he? I have him totally crooked right now. So let's turn him the correct way. He's kind of got a little bit of flashing going on around here. I need to kind of file this down a little bit. Just kind of give him a little bit of a rotate. Clean up this edge. This kind of thing you don't even notice a flash until you go to install it, and suddenly it's like, oh yeah, there's lots. Our edge just isn't that precise. Okay, that looks a little better. Let's try this again. There is enough for me to see that I can see exactly where it's supposed to go. Let's put a little glue in there. And he'll be a little more inclined to stay once I let go. There we go. There we go. So we'll put a little more glue. And a little up top. And there we go. So yeah, it would have been better to put the rear antennae on first. Would have been a little easier, but it wasn't the end of the world. Because it got access down underneath, you can see where it goes, so it's not that bad. There we go. And that ends step 56. 56 is done. Okay. I'm happy with that. All right. So let's flip our book over. It looks like we're going to put our turret down for a little while as we build some other things. So let me just put our assembly back together here. Run our gun through. So you see now we've got a little part of a problem. We've got this guy on the barrel that now interferes with that as I try to put it on there. It's not a problem as long as fortunately I moved this around enough that I can remove it without really doing anything. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. That's just going to have to go on a later time. So, there we go. See, if you're just assembling the whole thing and you're not going to keep it apart like I have, then that's not going to be a problem because it won't interfere. I'll have to remember about this little guy here. I'll keep that pointed up because he'll very easily go down in behind here. I'll bump it, I'll break that off, and I don't want to do that. So that's kind of what our turret is looking like now. Lots and lots of kibble on the top of that turret. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Anyway, before I get too far off topic here, let's put this aside. And step 57 is our TOW, which is our anti-tank missile launcher assembly. I don't know what TOW stands for, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so we've got all of our parts cleaned up and we're ready to start installing some of these. And I'm going to start with our little handle, or H1 is going to go up into these two little dots right there. So I'm going to go bing and boing and get some way more glue than what I need in those spots, but that's okay. And I'm going to grab this and put him right there and go doink. And of course I don't have them straight. There we go. Give them a little I'll press to make sure it's straight up and down, and there we go. Okay, so now we have a couple of end pieces here, G19. Okay, this guy's going to go in a very specific orientation, and I'm going to go crazy if I don't clean up these nub marks properly. I didn't realize I forgot this one. Anyway, so he's got this kind of, I'm going to say, it almost looks like an arrow. It's kind of pointing this way, so it's to my right, and that's the direction they show in the instructions on the same side that we just put our little H1 handle. So it's going to go like this. So I'll hold him on there, and I see I've got some flashing on this edge, which I didn't detect before. So let's clean that up. Okay, so now we'll do this again. That looks nicer. So I'll hold it in place and put some glue in from the inside. There we go. Make sure he's straight. And I'm just going to press a little bit and go a little bit of glue right in here on our tips, just to make sure he stays. Okay? And while I'm holding on to this, we're going to take G10, and according to the diagram, the little hole is supposed to go on the bottom right, same side down here. So like this. So I can kind of, while I'm holding on to the front, I can hold on to the back. Squeeze them both together. As we build our box. Okay. And there we have our little box built for that step. Bing. Okay. Now we're going to skip the middle. We're going to go to this side over here and assemble these pieces. These are G6, 7, and 18. Okay. So we'll take this guy and this guy. And so we've got two little slots and two little pegs. We'll get those lined up so we know which side they go on. And clearly one is shorter than the other, so you need to get those lined up. Just like this. They actually almost snap together. So that's nice. Thank you. Run some glue along our edges here. And of course, in the middle where we need it. And right in there. Yes. Okay. Just kind of hold that together for a sec. Now G6 is going to go on our end. And it looks, G6 looks like funny goggles. Now it's got kind of these little tabs that look like they're at the tops, and I don't know if those are supposed to go on the inside, the outside, what those are supposed to do. I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, it's a little hard to tell because they've got the thing colored, the dark color, to say, hey, this is, we're supposed to paint this olive green first. But if I look closely at the diagram, the little tabs, I don't know if the camera's going to be able to show you here. There's little tabs like right there, there, and there. Okay, and those are going to go at the top, and they're going towards the thing. Okay, so it goes in this direction like this. And I guess that helps, these little tabs help line it up on there. So yeah, the tabs help. That's good. It's good when tabs help. I tell you, I've put together too many AMT model kits of cars, engines where the tabs do not help. Okay, so there's that little assembly like that. Okay, just like that. Okay, now this needs to be painted because we're going to be taking G8 here and cleaning up the ejector pin. G8, this is going to sit in here like this. Looks like we've got a notch there to line it up. It's going to sit like this, and then this is going to go down over top. Or maybe this gets put in here first to line it up. I'm not sure exactly what's going to be required here. Maybe drop that down in here first. Something like this. And then put this in. Yeah, it's going to go like this. So my question is there much point in painting this thing olive drab color first? Because that's literally how much you're going to see on the inside of it. And on the other end, that's how much you see. Well, I guess possibly underneath. This looks like they were planning on having this on a hinge like this. So maybe this is gonna pivot. So yeah, maybe I should paint that first, which means I can't complete this assembly. So off to the side you go, just like other things that I can't complete. But we can, yeah, see, we've got other things like the anti-tank missiles. These are actually missiles. Hey, we've got missiles on our tank. The TOW anti-tank missile. So we got assembly 2. So this is the actual missiles, J7, 8, and 29. There's a weird looking missile, but I suppose that's what they are. And I forgot to actually mark out the color on this, but it is the same olive. So these need to be painted green also. So let's, I've got 4 minutes and I gotta go grab my chicken. And that's not metaphorical. Looks like we got a little piece of photo etch that they want me to put in that I'm not gonna bother because that little tiny detail is useless. But let's get some parts off of our trees here. We've got a few of our J and our G and an F. Okay, let's grab those and clean them up. Okay, so parts all taken off and cleaned up, and we're going to start over here. We've got options here. We can have it closed in the folded position or in the firing position. I think the firing position is going to be more interesting because it would actually show the detail on how it is. So let's just skip this for a second because depending on how it goes is going to depend on where our little G1 bracket goes. Whether it's going to be kind of pointed down and off down in this direction, like kind of in this angle in the firing position, and if it's folded it's going to be up more like this. So that's going to depend on how it all goes together. So these are going to be off to the side waiting. Okay, so let's get one of our missiles put together here. I'll do the other missile off camera as I just discovered another nub that I forgot to clean up, because I got 3 nubs and not just 2. Same on this side. Forgot about these. Okay, so put our two halves together, and it doesn't look like there's any particular orientation. It just goes together. That's what it seems like. I'm gonna have to kind of hold it while the glue kind of does its thing, because it kind of wants to open up a little bit. So I'll just hold these for a second. And then we're going to pick a side. It looks like, so we've got our two little dots things, two little circles, and then a little thing on the side. So it looks like we got a big dot in the center and then a little dot beside it. Now, I'm calling them dots, they're little circles. I don't know what they are. You see there's a big one, and then on the left there's a smaller one. So in the direction of the smaller one, that's where we're going to put our next piece, our J29. I think I've got some flashing here I need to clean up. It's not really lined up. J29 literally just goes doink on the end, but my end is not flat, so let's just flatten that out so it's flat. You have to flatten it out so that it's flat. Otherwise it won't be flattened out or flat. So flatten it out so it's flat. Okay. I'm actually going to put some glue on there, being like this, so that this has a little something to go, hey, that's sticky, I want to stay there. And there we go. So that's one missile assembly, just like that. That's, believe it or not, that's an anti-tank missile. Okay, and that's one. I got a second one to do, but I'm not going to put that together right now. We're going to move on to the middle. See, this guy is supposed to go inside the main assembly here. Basically, slide in like this. It kind of doesn't really go in there that great. Mind you, the fact I've got a little bit of flashing and stuff like that on this, that doesn't really help any. Let's just see. Can he go in here? It does fit. There's a little knob that's got to line up with these things, and then it slides in. I guess we'll go in all the way to the end. But pretty much once it's in there, it ain't coming out. You have to fire it. Pew! Like that. Anyway, let's put him aside because we're not actually loading any missiles today. Let's work on our middle here. G11, G16, and G14. Looks like we're going to make ourselves a little sandwich here. G11, little pin's going to line up with our holes here, just like this. Once I get this together, I'm going to have to call it a day. I'll have to get going. Okay, so there's that in the middle there. Okay. And then G14 is going to go up top here, going to go over top of it. Just line up the big rectangular slot with the peg. And it should line up kind of like that. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue on here. And quickly before it dries, shove that in there. Good. And because of the nature of the glue, it was starting to dry. But we've got that on there. Okay, so there's our little assembly, whatever you want to call that. It doesn't quite go down, so it's only gluing to the one side. Okay, there we go. And that's that. And it's got to go on to this guy. They say not to glue F26 and 27, but I think it means don't glue them to the hinge. This guy is going to go in like this. In there. It's really kind of hard to say. So if I take F26, he's probably going to get, he has to get glued onto this. You know, just the nature of the way it is, he's got to get glued on there. Otherwise, how is it all going to stay, right? Yes. How will it stay? Just doing a little bit of a test. So I'm going to glue him into place like this. And that's going to allow me to kind of position him in like this so that I can put F27 on. It's a little bit tricky. This is a lot tricky. A lot tricky. Holding it while holding it is going to be really hard to do, because in a sense, am I supposed to glue this or am I not supposed to glue that? It doesn't say. It just says that goes there, this goes in the middle. It says don't glue these pieces, but it doesn't say anything about not gluing that. But I imagine if this is supposed to be rotatable, then how then if you glue it, like, I really don't know. I'm not sure. Because I have a feeling in the folded position, this is supposed to be like that and kind of tucked in there. But that would mean you got to clip this off or something. Unless it sits like, no, it doesn't sit like that. This is really kind of messed up. How am I supposed to wind up with it either folded or closed? Like, and why not glue it? Why not glue them on? I don't understand. And why not fix your molds and get rid of the flashing? Okay. The easiest way for me to do this is to kind of put him in his position, put glue on him so that he stays while I kind of adjust it, clip him in. And he goes this way. Okay, so he's on. And now that he's in, I'm going to add a little more glue. There and there. And right now he's floppy. So he'll be able to, you know, fold, but he only folds to there and that's it. And that's technically the open position, or the firing position, which is kind of what I wanted. But it's interesting that they show it in the folded position, but they don't show me how to put it in the folded position. I want to take a look at maybe the next page and see what we've got going on. So I don't have time to do the rear turret storage basket today. I'm going to have to do that next time. So they show it here. They show it here on the next page in the firing position. So they don't actually show it in any other position. So I don't really see any reason not to glue it in. I don't see a reason not to glue it like this. So I'm going to put glue on there on our 3 points and leave it like this. In spite of the instructions telling me not to glue it, I'm going to glue it. Okay, so he's glued in that position like that. Like that. Okay, and we're going to let that dry. I need something to actually hold it up like this while it's drying, so I'll just do this and let that dry. And so that is where I'm going to leave it. I've got to get going. I got to call it a day as far as this is concerned. I feel like, in spite of the fact that this is the tank that never ends, I feel like the end is coming. With only 1 page left, we're on step 59 now of 60. We might get the assembly finished next time, and that would be really cool. Finally. Yes, I want to thank you guys for bearing with me on this long journey of this build of this tank. We're still not finished because we still got painting, decals, weathering to do. So we're still not done. Probably 2 or 3 more episodes. Yeah. It's a long build. But, as you guys have seen, you guys who have actually watched and followed me along through this journey, you see, I haven't really run into any problems or any real difficulty with it. It's been a fairly straightforward build. Everything is going together quite nicely. I can't really complain. Yeah, it's a long build and there's lots of stuff, but it's going together really nicely. So, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me on this. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Check out the description box down below there. I've got links to my Twitch and my Instagram, my X channel. You can check those out if you feel like it. It's all up to you. You have the power. Yes. Thank you again, guys, for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.